Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Jedi Eternal. I am one of your hosts, Andrew Bull, and alongside Braxton, where is my marinara, Taylor?
Hey, I take my marinara seriously, boy.
Do not get on this guy's bad side, and what I mean by that is do not forget his marinara sauce, or he will hold a grudge for the rest of his life.
Well, to be fair, so I listen, when I go eat, it's because I'm hungry. And when I'm hungry, I'm usually very hungry. And it's like listen, you order something from a restaurant, right? Even if it's a fast food restaurant, you expect it to be in the back, especially if you pay for it. So I'm not going to get into the story, but yes, there's been on several instances a specific employee at a certain restaurant has I feel like
he holds a grudge
purposely
against this guy.
has forgot my marinara, or not forgot. He did not put
And
my
the best
marinara
part
first.
is he basically forgot it again. So
Yeah, because we ate before we recorded today, and well, I wasn't a happy camper for a little bit, but nevertheless, we got our tummies full, and we're behind the mic.
We are behind the mic and behind schedule, as usual.
Yeah.
Maybe an abbreviated episode today, but we did want to come on here and talk about some interesting news that has come up, some interesting rumors that have came up here as of late. So we're going to talk about some of that, in this what I would consider kind of a lull right now with Star Wars as we're awaiting Ahsoka, the next big Star Wars thing. There hasn't been as much to discuss, but we did have some interesting stuff happen this past week that we want to talk about. But before we get to that, we do want to thank all of our Patreon producers. This is something you can join for $5 a month. And with that, you get instant access to our Jedi Eternal episodes. You get an exclusive podcast called And Other Stuff, where we talk about everything that isn't Star Wars. And you also get a shout out like you're getting right now if you are a Patreon producer. So we want to thank all of them, including JB, Josh and Birkinshaw, who had a birthday recently. Ooh. So we do want to say a big happy birthday to him.
To you.
Also, Tara Bolin, Grace and David Gill, Alex Mason, Corey Wise, Jay Camdar, Jenna, and Promise. So thank you all for being Patreon producers. It helps us tremendously. It helps keep the dream alive. So we thank you for that.
How grandiose, but
grandiose.
So true.
So let's just jump straight into these news because we do have some very interesting stuff to talk about this week. And the first thing that we want to talk about is at the Xbox showcase that we just recently had over what they're calling Summer Games Fest, we got the first trailer for a brand new Star Wars game from Ubisoft Massive Entertainment. If you are not familiar with them, they have created games like Tom Clancy's The Division, and they're also working on the upcoming Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. But this game that was announced is called Star Wars Outlaws, and there is a trailer that you can go and watch. It was a world premiere trailer. It introduces us to a scoundrel type female character named Kay Vess. Very, in my opinion, very Dr. Aphra.
Yeah,
that's like I'm getting major like Dr. Aphra vibes from her. Anyways, we see her in this. We didn't get a whole lot from this actual world premiere trailer, but only a few days later, we got the Ubisoft showcase, which did actually reveal the first 10-minute gameplay footage.
Yeah.
And so this is where we really learned a lot of stuff. And so you can also find that on YouTube. And so just look up, like Star Wars Outlaws gameplay. I'm sure it'll come up. And there's a couple big things to gather from this. The first thing is that this takes place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
Which is an interesting little window there. It's about a year. And we don't have a whole lot of content that actually takes place in between those.
No. As we're probably going to get into in just a second, especially, you know it better than I do, but we have been getting some content in between now and then, those time frames. And of course, there are some of the comics and stories that we see, which again are heavily in the scoundrel,
Yes, they're
the
dealing with a lot of
criminal organization stuff.
the criminal underworld, the syndicates,
Yes.
all that stuff is what the comics have been kind of dealing with, and everybody's been trying to get Han Solo's body and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we actually see Han Solo's body in the trailer, as well as Jabba. And so I think there might be some connections to some of that stuff. Maybe even like a Kira cameo, because Kira, of course, has been very involved in that time period. But yeah, so you play as Kay Vess, who works alongside ND5, who is a modified BX series commando battle droid who wears a trench coat, and so that's pretty great.
Why not?
Because why not? And there's also, she has a little pet alien creature named Nyx, who is voiced by, do you know who it's voiced by?
D. Bradley Baker.
D. Bradley Baker. I love that. Of course, that's awesome. So
something also to point out here, though, is that this is going to be one of, if not the very first actual true open world games in Star Wars.
Yes, and that's the big thing that they are saying about this game, is this is an open world Star Wars game, which we've never truly received. You do have Jedi Survivor and Jedi. What was the first one called?
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Thank you. That have some pretty decent sized maps. But this one they're calling an open world, and part of that in the gameplay reveal is that you can jump in your ship and you can fly up into space, and it's all a very smooth transition.
Yeah.
And you're flying around in a spaceship in space, and you can even press a button to go into hyperspace and do all that stuff. So pretty cool that they have all that.
Yeah. So just to give like a quick little, obviously you're going to be on the ground. It's kind of like a third person over the shoulder perspective. You're going to be fighting. Yeah. But there's also going to be a very cool like sneaking element too, especially if you watch the gameplay trailer. There's going to be sneaking mechanics, which we did not get in Jedi, the Jedi games, right? So Fallen Order and Survivor, something I really wish we did get, but we'll be getting that in this game. So like I said, there's going to be a kind of a mixture of stealth and ground combat. But then also we do get to see as we get into the ships and we go up into outer orbit and space travel, you can actually kind of manipulate your character within that space. It's not just a loading screen. And you will be doing dogfights. You will be doing different exploration and things of that nature in space as well, which is a very unique combination that we don't really see that often.
Yeah, it's definitely... I think they're wanting it to go for a Star Wars a GTA Star Wars vibe. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what they're wanting people to get from this, and that you can go and just explore this area. And she jumps on a speeder at one point and is going along on a speeder, which is cool. This is, of course, she's not a Jedi. She's just a scoundrel. So, it looks like the combat is primarily blasters. I don't know if there will be any kind of melee, other than, like, she does do some punches.
Right.
But I don't know that there'll be any, like, melee weapons. We'll have to see. I will say that will probably be the only thing that will bother me about this game when it comes out, is like, oh man, this open world's cool, but man, I wish I had a lightsaber right now,
you know us, right? It is our inherent bias. Anytime we see something Star Wars, if we don't have a lightsaber, it is a bit of a disappointment.
But this game looks expensive, right? Like it screams AAA. So I'm very excited. I have high hopes for it. We'll have to see if they can pull it off. Will it be able to be comparable to Jedi Survivor? Will it be better, worse? It'd be interesting to see how that plays out, because of course, the Jedi games are made by EA. They have nothing to do with Ubisoft and that company. So this is coming from a completely different developer, publisher, everything. So it'd be interesting to see how comparable they are in the end. Other than, of course, Lucasfilm's games trying to make sure everything stays consistent
Which yeah, you're not going to expect anything different on that end. But in terms of gameplay and things of the nature, yeah. So right now we don't have a specific release date. We are slated for 2024. Of course, most likely we're going to be looking at probably third to fourth quarter in 2024 if we had to guess. Of course.
Oh yeah, I would say easily I would assume the plan is fall of 2024
if it doesn't get pushed.
But if it doesn't get pushed, and let's be honest, in this world today, most games get a couple of delays before they actually come out. So I would not be surprised in the slightest if this game doesn't actually release until 2025.
Right.
But only time shall tell.
Only time shall tell.
But super excited. Keep that on your radar, and of course, as we learn more information about the game, we'll let you guys know for sure.
Absolutely. So our next news piece is actually about something we're very excited about, and we all already know, and that is, of course, about the Ahsoka series. Again, there's not a whole lot to speak of here. We've already discussed the Ahsoka series and kind of went in depth into the trailer and all that good stuff. And as of yet, we did know what month, which was August when it was supposed to premiere, but we did get a further delineation here, and that is August 23rd is when Ahsoka episode 1 will premiere. So yeah, I mean, something to be very much excited about. We're basically 2 months out at this point. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited for there. So I don't know, is there anything else on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really anything else to say other than I am incredibly stoked about this show. Of course, I think we all are. Everyone that listens to this, I'm sure, is excited as well. And knowing the official date, August 23rd, is very exciting. And, we'll, of course, be giving our thoughts and reviews on the episodes as they come out. So you guys will definitely want to stick around to our podcast for that, for sure. But I do also just want to kind of throw out there that, it is unfortunate that Ray Stevenson, who stars in Ahsoka, has passed away at the age of only 58. And he's playing Balin, who looks to be an incredibly interesting character. So it's really a huge shame, and I'm interested to see how it'll be interesting to see if, like, at the end of this series, if it seemed like he was going to be like a prominent returning character, or if this was like I don't know, we'll see, but it's a huge shame for sure.
Yep. So like I said, keep your eyes and ears out for that release date and let us know your thoughts in the meantime.
And last but certainly not least, we have a real big one here for all of you. And that is that Star Wars has added 2 films.
Oh boy.
For 2026. 2 films. The dates are May 22nd, 2026 and December 18th, 2026.
Getting very specific.
So here we are with these 2 dates, 7 months apart. And the other news alongside that is that the film set for release in December 2025 has now been removed.
Right. So assumption, of course, that's going to fill one of the 2026 spots.
Correct. That it would be the assumption. So essentially one has been delayed and one has been added. Now, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this, Braxton, but I'll just go ahead and kind of give you what my initial thought is here. And that is, oh no. This worries me, honestly. When I read it, I was a little worried. And the reason for that is we've done this before. We did this.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a disaster.
And it didn't go well. And then they stopped releasing Star Wars movies every year. And now we're finally going to get Star Wars movies again, and we're going to go ahead and just do 2 in 1 year.
The exact same thing that happened.
What?
So if you don't know what we're referring to, that is the drop of Solo and then Rise of Skywalker much later on that year. And that was a very big issue because obviously Solo tanked for, some people's many different reasons. I personally like the movie, but...
And I think it was even around the exact same time periods as these 2 movies are going to be.
And again...
I think it was like summer and then winter.
And another problem with that is that also a Marvel movie had, I think it was Age of Ultron or something like that, had dropped at that same time, which then, of course, deferred some of the views that it could have potentially got on that movie as well. And so, yeah, I mean, just coming just straight into it, right? I would be very surprised if this happened. And the fact that they're even just releasing this at all, or was ever even thinking that, just blows my mind. But all in all, depending, or just knowing what we've seen in the past, with this instance with Solo and Rise of Skywalker, and then additionally, with what we've heard Kathleen Kennedy saying how she wants these movies to proceed as they come back after this kind of big hiatus, I would be genuinely surprised to see 2 movies come out in 2026. I would just be very surprised.
It's just shocking when I saw it. I'm like, I thought they changed everything because of the last time they
Right.
did this. It was just so shocking for me to see. Something interesting to note here about this is that the first film, May 22nd, 3 weeks prior to that, do you know what is coming out?
Yeah, it's either an Avatar or Marvel movie, right?
It's Avengers King Dynasty.
yeah.
So the next Avengers movie is coming out 3 weeks prior
So
to.
again, doing the exact same thing that
it's-
happened.
It's
before.
risky. That's pretty big. Yeah. Oof. I don't know.
What
know.
were they thinking?
So a lot of people are speculating that the first one is going to be the Rey movie, so the one that comes out in May,
Yeah.
and then the December one is going to be the Filoni movie.
I've heard differing opinions there. I've heard that.
Okay.
I've heard that the second one's going to be the Dawn of the Jedi, which I don't think it necessarily matters, right? But
Yeah, I think the reason for that, also there is a third one marked on the calendar, which is December 17th, 2027. That one we already had listed at 2027, and it hasn't been changed.
right.
So, but so what we know on that though is, there's a lot of people that think this will be the Rey one first because we know that is the one that is the furthest along as far as just kind of discussions and
And what's also
director
most familiar to people right now too.
yeah, and
you know?
then the next one being probably closest would be the Dave Filoni one, where the next the what James Mangold one, I think is not maybe as further along, but I could see them being swapped. I could see the 2027 one being Dave Filoni, if only for the sake of them wanting to get more shows out before they do the movie.
Yeah.
That will be the big question. But
Yeah.
anyways, let us know your thoughts on that. Let us know your thoughts on these new dates for movies. How do you feel about there being 2 in 1 year? Do you think that's amazing, 2 movies in 1 year? Are you worried about it? Listen, here's my final thoughts on it. If they can do it and do it right, cool. I'm all about it. If they can pull off, I was gonna say if they can pull off the MCU, but if they could pull off what the MCU used to be and have more than one
Yeah.
movie in a year and they all be good, cool. Let's do it.
Right.
But if it's gonna just throw us into the same issue we had last time, and then they just like quit making movies again because then I'm
Right.
gonna be pretty upset.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of ridiculous.
So anyways, let us know your thoughts on that. But let's go ahead and jump into rumors. Again, we're moving pretty fast today. But we wanted to get an episode out for you guys. But of course, as usual, we are on a tight schedule. So, in rumors, this is a very interesting one. This one's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But listen, we've talked about some that we thought were pretty crazy that turned out to be true. So, this one is coming from Giant Robot. And they say they have a trusted and proven source that is telling them that Alden Ehrenreich will reprise his role as Han Solo in Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie. And also that the casting of Leia Organa will be recast so that they both can be in the movie.
Interesting indeed. Now, I mean, what? So when he says the Dave Filoni movie, are we talking about the event culmination here?
Correct.
And in what context would Alden Ehrenreich's version of Solo be in that movie?
I guess that it will be their attempt at. I guess they'll just have to like try to make him a little older, act older.
Yeah, you have to
You
be
know
a
what
lot
I mean?
older.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
gonna. I mean, I have mixed feelings about it. Here's my thing, and we've talked about this before. If we're going to continue in this universe and tell the stories in this time period, we can't pretend like Han Solo and Leia Organa and Luke Skywalker don't exist. They're
Right.
too
Yeah.
they're too important, too big during this era. When big things happen, you can guarantee they're going to be there because they were the heroes.
Yeah.
Right? They're the heroes.
Right.
So if we have a big throwdown with Thrawn, heir to the Empire, you expect Han Solo, Leia Organa, and Luke Skywalker to play a role in that.
Yeah.
Maybe not a huge role, but you expect them to be a part of some kind of battle saving the world, right?
Yeah.
You don't expect them to be sitting on a beach somewhere while this goes on.
Right.
And so with that, I think that, okay, Harrison Ford, he's done. He didn't even want to come back for any of the sequels, but
Right.
they must have gave him enough money to convince him otherwise.
Right.
Of course, Carrie Fisher has passed.
Right.
So all we have is Mark Hamill. And Mark Hamill, who has been willing to come back, again, though, the technology, it just requires so much time and effort and money to even do just the small little scenes they've done with him.
True.
And yes, it's been really special to get him back and know that Mark Hamill was a part of it.
Right.
But to continuously do that is going to, in my opinion, is unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to blow their budget out of the water,
Or it's going to just look bad.
Or it's, yeah, well, because again, it's going to blow their budget out of water, and then what's going to end up happening is they're going to have to scale back down, and then in order to do that, the visual quality is not going to be nearly what it could be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's a catch-22. And so that's another thing too, getting that stand-in for their characters. So Alden Ehrenreich, I thought he did fine, maybe even good in Solo. But I mean, they're gonna have to age him by like a couple decades.
Well, and that's the thing
this,
with Alden. At least we've seen him as Han before,
right?
And despite what you may think, and there's definitely an argument to say he didn't really act like Harrison Ford. But I mean, come on, who can act like Harrison Ford? That's
Right.
He has a special swagger to him that you can't. It's hard to mimic.
Right. It's the swagger of not wanting to be there.
Yeah. But do I think that he did well enough to play a young Han Solo? Sure. I mean, I honestly, like you, I didn't necessarily have any complaints with the Solo movie other than just, well, it's kind of weird that that's what they chose to do.
Right,
but it's not necessarily a bad movie. And so when you, so I could see it. I could see them making it work so that we can have Han Solo in this.
Mm-hmm.
The Leia one, of course, is going to be a little trickier because we don't have any other example. We don't have any other example of another Leia. We have had someone fill in, and then they did the CGI on the face like they've done for Mark Hamill. I think they used her daughter for that.
I think so, yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion, I would just say use your daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good tribute to her.
It'd be a great tribute. Sure, does she...
Well, she's technically already been a character, but...
Yeah, she has, but I don't care. I mean, does she look just like her mom? And not necessarily, but just the fact that we know she is her daughter, I feel like a lot of fans would just buy into it and be like, let's do it. It's in honor of her mother and everything. I would actually be okay with that, but I don't know if that's the way they're going to go. They'll probably try to do someone that captures and looks more like Carrie Fisher, but that's a tricky road to go down.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this rumor doesn't say anything about Mark Hamill, but you have to assume if they're doing this, there is a chance that they may recast Mark Hamill too.
Yeah.
And
well, I tell you, on end of season 2 of Mando, when they did all of that work with him and in Boba Fett, I guess too. But I mean, the
actual guy
plays him, he looks pretty close to him. I mean, he does.
Yeah, and here's the thing: maybe they choose to continue with that guy.
Yeah,
they used him for the next thing too, right? When he went in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
which is so wild. The Luke Skywalker's next appearance was the Book of Boba Fett. But anyway,
yeah.
When it shows him in that, him and Ahsoka, I think it was the same guy. So maybe Filoni is going to be like, hey, let's just use that guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe they continue on with Mark Hamill and do the whole thing. But I just don't expect to see him very much if they do that.
Yeah.
Anyways, just a very interesting rumor. Maybe not even true. Maybe they won't even show up. I think I think they need to find a way to make it work because, again, it's just not going to make sense if they're not around. And maybe even get Donald Glover back as Lando.
Right.
Get the whole team,
yeah.
and get Chewie in there. I just think that it makes sense for what this movie has to be. It makes sense they're going to be involved. They have to be, in my opinion. You can't not have them in it.
No. Yeah, like I said, it would just be, it's a tough situation for them all, but it's going to be like, well, if we include them, it's going to overshadow our characters to some degree, and secondarily, it's going to be hard to bring them in logistically, but at the same time, it's like, how can you say during that era, something as major of an event as fighting Thrawn, these three trio of like superheroes essentially are not going to be there.
Right.
They
have to be.
So it have to be.
There is no other solution.
So like I said, it's a tough situation all the way around.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm sure we'll learn more as time goes on. We still have a while to wait for that. But going on to our next rumor.
Our next rumor, and that is simply Star Wars: The Old Republic. So not Knights of the Old Republic, but Old Republic, which is the MMORPG essentially that you can play currently. In it's still a live service, and there's still stuff going on with it. I've been playing a little bit the past couple of months as well. Now that I've got a Steam Deck, which has been pretty cool. But anyway, with that being said, it's been existent for a little while now, but it is actually being sold out, and it is going third party. So the previous head over it was BioWare, and they were working on it, and they had it for a very long time. But as their focus has now shifted to some of the things that they're looking to the future on, now is being taken over by Broadsword Online. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and so this technically has not been officially confirmed. This did start out as a rumor, and then BioWare, or EA, sorry, came out and said, yes, we are in talks. We have been having conversations with Broadsword, but nothing's been finalized. But it does, the sources familiar with it do believe that a deal could be finalized very soon. And again, like you said, the thing is BioWare, of course, has a lot of things going on, including two very big franchises for them, which is Dragon Age and Mass Effect. And they do have titles for both that they're working on right now, which is super exciting for me because I love both of those. And so they're wanting kind of all hands on deck to get these games out because it's been a while since they released a new game.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think this is very interesting. I'm not super familiar with Broadsword, but after kind of looking into it, they do work on Ultima Online and Dark Age of Camelot. I don't know anything about either of those, but yeah. So I feel a little iffy about this because I am a fan of the Old Republic MMO. I think they've done a lot of great work there, and they have managed to tell more story in an MMO than most MMOs ever do.
Sure. And
there is a lot to enjoy there and appreciate. And I do just wonder if we end up handing this off to something like Broadsword Online. Does that mean it's basically done? Like, are they just going to keep it maintained?
Right. Or, there's no further development.
That's what I wonder. Are they going to continue releasing big story expansions? Because they have been. BioWare's been releasing pretty substantial story expansions that have continued these characters and stories, and it's been really cool. But I just don't know. I just wonder if them giving it over to this Broadsword Online, they're like, here, you take care of this for us, keep it running, but basically we're done.
Kind of sunset.
The stories, the big expansions are over, that kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
And I don't know if any of our listeners are fans of this. If you are, let me know. Maybe we can meet up sometime and play together. But
you like dance.
Maybe we could do some emotes together, and it'd be a lot of fun. We could go sit in the cantina. Just chill out.
Just hang out.
And type 1111111 if you're looking for a girlfriend.
Yeah. I do that at every gaming session.
That was RuneScape, actually, but
I do it in every game.
You do it in every game. Club Penguin.
God. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about the time I got banned from Club Penguin, but anyway.
Only you could get banned from Club Penguin. Oh boy. Anyways, so that's interesting. We'll see if that becomes a like super official thing. We'll report on it again to you guys and talk about it. But yeah, moving on to our last rumor here, and actually we're going to kind of stick with the Old Republic vibes here, but now we're going to be talking about the Knights of the Old Republic remake. Yes, the notorious Knights of the Old Republic remake. People have been begging for it for years, and they finally show a little CGI preview trailer, and then said it was going to be a PS5 exclusive. And now, a Games Insider, Jeff Grubb from Giant Bomb, who I will tell you is very accurate. He's always been pretty much dead on. He knows what he's talking about. He says that this game will never come out.
Boo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
Yeah, he said that he does not think it will ever come out. And, you know, it was going to be made by Aspire Media.
So we actually have already had a podcast talking about all the issues with Aspire Media and all of their stuff, you know. But so if you want to go back and try to find that, I can't tell you what episode that is. But we do give you further detail as to some of the issues that they've already encountered with the remake. But anyway.
Yeah, and then we heard that Embracer Group decided to move it over to Saber Interactive, and then we never really heard anything else after that. We do know that Aspire just recently, they just recently posted a thing that said the Switch port of Knights of the Old Republic 2. Which was going to, they released it, and then they said coming soon will be the unreleased content, you know, that basically people modded into the game to like complete it because it originally was released uncompleted. So they were going to add that to the Switch version. They said like coming soon. So everybody bought it and have been waiting, and they just released a thing that said they're not going to release it. So
wow, bunch of cheapskates.
Yeah. So, anyways, I mean, Aspire can't even release the unreleased content from a
already
game
developed from someone else.
Yeah, that came out a long time ago. So you can't expect them to make a remake of Knights of the Republic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, probably you're never going to see it, which is super unfortunate, very depressing. Because
from what we heard and seen, it was going to be awesome.
Listen, somebody needs to do it, and maybe one day someone else will be handed the keys to the kingdom, and someone will do it right. Personally, in my opinion, I think BioWare should just do it. But BioWare is too busy with other things. But one of these days, maybe we'll see it when I'm like 60. But that's all for our news and rumors. We do. I actually do not have releases pulled up. That is my bad.
Whoa, unprofessional.
That is my bad.
Totally unprofessional.
I don't believe we really have much coming up, other than probably some comics, because that's pretty much all that we get right now. But I will make sure of that for you guys, because that is my job, is to make sure you guys know what is coming. Yeah, so it looks like we have on the 21st, we have Bounty Hunters issue number 35, and also The Mandalorian season 2 issue number 1. And June 28th, we have The High Republic Adventures issue number 6, 7, and 8. They're going ahead and releasing those all three together because Phase 2 is basically already over, so I think they just jammed them all in there on the same date. And we have Darth Vader, Black, White, and Red, issue number 3. Dr. Aphra, issue number 33. So those are your upcoming Star Wars releases. Basically just comics. Again, the next novel we're getting is Inquisitor Rise of the Red Blade, July 18th, the day before my birthday.
Whoa.
So that's by Delilah S. Dawson, and I'm highly looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, and so also, you know, again, if you haven't been reading up on the comics, and especially these Bounty Hunter series and the different Underworld series that we've got, hey, it'd be good to start reading up on them now, because as of, you know, maybe this time plus a couple months next year, we get in this Underworld video game.
It's possible.
So it'd be very
possible.
cool. So the last thing we're going to go over today is just talking about Star Wars Visions, not season 2, what are they called? Volume 2. Very old news by now, folks, so we get it. But we did ask this as a community discussion, basically reaching out to you guys saying like, hey, you know, have you watched it yet? And if so, what is your favorite episode and why? Well, and this is why we're not going to spend too much time on this today, is because I don't think anyone really cares, and that's okay. It's okay if you don't care, because of the 3 comments that we got, 2 of the 3 was we didn't watch it yet, which granted this was about a week or 2 ago now, so you maybe have watched it this time, but maybe I should have reposted this. But anyway, due to our time constraints and the fact that most people probably don't really care as much, we're not going to delve too far into this. Now, I will say, with the exception of Lori Gleason, who said all of the episodes was their favorite. And you know what, Lori, I'm going to be honest with you. At first I thought, that's kind of a cop-out answer. but as I began thinking about this question, I have to admit, I'm on the same boat as Lori, and that is, I honestly, it's really difficult for me to choose a favorite because I really, truly do like pretty much all of these episodes. You know, we have, let me see here. I'm not, because as soon as I say it, it's going to be wrong. We had 9 episodes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. We had 9 episodes.
You liked all of them? I thought there was a couple that you really didn't like.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a few of them I was like, okay, what's the point of this? But overall, I thought, because here's the thing.
Like, I thought you hated the Bandits of Golak.
Which one was that?
The one from India.
Oh, no, I didn't hate it. I did feel like there was some artistic liberties that was a little far, but I will say that the animation was probably the best animation of the entire series.
It was the closest to Clone Wars animation.
That's probably why I liked it.
Of any of them.
Yeah, no, it was very impressive animation. Like I said, and I think that's really the takeaway for me is, like, I may not have loved every single one of them, like they're my favorite thing in the whole world, but I do think there's a really nice redeeming quality to at least one redeeming quality to every one of the episodes. And I think that's more to say, you know, that's more than you can say them from Volume 1, because as much as I love anime, there were some episodes in Volume 1 I was just like, there's no redeeming quality to this. Like, I don't like it at all.
So
you know I
can easily tell you what my favorite 3 were.
Okay, go ahead.
Sith.
Okay.
Screecher's Reach.
Okay.
And The Pit.
Okay. I can't remember all of them. I mean, I know if I got into it.
Those were without a doubt my favorite 3.
So yeah, I think my favorite one. Was I can't remember which one it was called, but the one that was made by Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, I Am Your Mother.
Yeah, I have to say that might be my favorite, just because
I enjoyed the art style on that a lot.
Just because it was straight up, you know, it was straight up Wallace and Gromit in
Star Wars.
I mean, that's exactly what it was.
I did enjoy it for that. Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember which one. Oh, so In the Stars, I really liked that one too. I thought that was a really enjoyable. Yeah, Screecher's Reach was another.
In the Stars wasn't bad.
In the Stars was another really good one for me.
I really liked Screecher's Reach because it had this, like, a little bit of a horror vibe to it.
Yeah, it's with the Witch in the Mountain one, right? Yeah.
And then has that, like, kind of a really dark ending to it.
Yeah,
because
she abandons her friends.
She leaves all of her friends and essentially to go be a Sith. Is what's happening. But it makes it appear like it's gonna like it's a Jedi, but it's actually a Sith.
Yeah,
so it's
pretty. It's just like this light pouring.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's it's like this really, like, dark. I don't know. I was really into it. I liked Sith because I thought it just has a super unique art style. It was a very just appealing art, and I think the Sith character itself was pretty neat. And also, I thought you would really like that one just because it deals with, like, the gray Jedi type.
I did like that. I thought for me the artistic style was just a little much for me. A little too much to really get into it. But yeah, the Sith character was good, and I like that kind of like the dark Jedi type thing too. I mean, so I did enjoy it. Like I said, that's what, coming back to my point, is like every one of them has some sort of redeeming quality in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with you on that, but
Okay. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think.
No, see the spy dancer. I couldn't. There's not a single
Really?
redeeming thing about the spy dancer.
Okay, you're just going crazy on that
No,
one.
the spy dancer.
I would agree with you if you said the Owl
spy
song.
dancer. I was gonna say that one next
Because that one has like nothing to do with Star Wars.
The spy dancer was horrible. Our song literally isn't even Star Wars. It's just it's
No, Spy Dancer. I kind of like that one.
no.
What did you not like about it? Like what?
Pass.
Wow. Tell me what.
I didn't like anything about it. Nothing. There's no redeeming qualities to that episode.
Okay. Well, we agree to disagree on that one.
And then the Bandits of Golok was fine. I'm with you. I think it had maybe a little too many creative. I don't know. Like I don't know. I won't get into it. But Journey to the Dark Head was just too anime for me. It's just,
of course,
it's just way too much anime.
Of course, you would say
now
that.
The Pit was anime, but I actually really liked the Pit. It was it's a really like dark story. Where that kid finally like climbs out of the pit and then he goes to get help and they just take him and they bring him back and throw him in and he dies. I'm like, whoa, that's really dark.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just like a good dark story.
Of course you do. You're part of the dark side.
I'm part of the dark
side of the Force.
Yes.
Why is like New Jersey?
Yeah. What?
I was like, why I went like the New Jersey accent, like the dark side of the Force.
Yeah, welcome to New Jersey. Where we
the dark side of the New England states. Sorry for any listeners that are from New Jersey. Anyway,
yeah.
So overall, like I said, if you have at this point watched these episodes, please let us know in the comments of this episodes we posted, which one was your favorite, if there's any ones that really stuck out to you. Because again, there was a lot of really good ones in there and a lot of redeeming qualities in most of them.
Well, and I'm saying some stuff or whatever, but I thoroughly enjoyed this season far more than the first one. The first one I could not get into at all.
For unnamed reasons.
It's because it was anime.
Yeah.
But I just can't get into anime usually. But this I did get into a lot more. And even The Pit, which was straight up anime, I enjoyed. So there you go.
Well, anyway, we'll just let you ruminate on that one, folks. So anyway, we're going to have to close up shop early today, but we do thank you so much for listening. We do apologize for the kind of length of duration of episodes here, but of course, as you well know, being in the Star Wars world with us, it is pretty dead right now.
It's a little dry, and also it's summer, so just a lot of busy stuff going on. But
and our philosophy, and some of you may not like us saying this, but our philosophy is I would rather not have an episode, not have an episode if we have nothing to say,
right?
Than to do this an episode and we're just like rambling.
For us
talking about
to post and not have any passion behind it or care at all is not why we do this. We want to have meaningful conversation and we want to enjoy it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it when we have it and it's not boring to you and feels like a waste of time.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing, even if it's not the best episode in the world, at least we give you information, and we can't give you information if there's nothing out there. So
yeah. And sometimes when we still release a bad episode, we apologize later.
Yeah.
We have we were talking about the other day. We literally have an episode from, I don't know, it's been a long time ago.
Okay, over a year
it's
ago.
Like, we're so sorry.
The title of the episode was We're So Sorry.
And then it was all about how we were sorry about the last episode because it was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. We probably should have done that again, and
at least a couple
times this year. So just in not in advance, but in retrospect, sorry for any episode. Right? Yeah, it was really bad, but
we're sorry for any episode that whenever the closing music came out and you thought, wow, that was a waste of time.
Why did I listen to that episode? So sorry about that. And maybe today was one of those.
And if it's this one, we're sorry.
But hey, at least today we recognize we didn't have a lot, so we gave you the pertinent information and cut it short.
Yeah, I mean, hey. There's some interesting news there, okay?
Yeah.
There's some interesting news for you guys to think about, and we do want to hear your thoughts, so let us know.
Truly. So, thank you guys again so much for listening. Thank you for being a part of Jedi Eternal. Really, it is basically the only reason that we do this is because we can always get together and hang out and stuff, and this gives us good reasons too, but we can always do that by ourselves, right? But the reason that we continue to do this is because there's people behind it, and that would be in not in our words, but in your own words, it would be disappointed if we stopped this, right? So we thank you so much for being a part of this journey with us. But because you're a part of that journey, we would be very glad if you would do us the kindness of liking and following us on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter and Instagram and all those different places, specifically Facebook though, where we have most of our stuff on there. We try to post on there as much as we can. Like I said, it's been dead recently, so there's not much to post, but follow us on there. We all of our news and all their stuff will be posted on there. Last but not least, please follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you'd be so kind, leave us a review, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, because we would love to hear from you and know how to get better. But we thank you so much for listening. Next episode is episode 99.
Whoa.
And we're getting ever closer to that 100 mark. So I think we've already discussed this, but just want to cap off here. That is, once we hit episode 100, we are doing some changes, and we're going to go to season 2, episode 1 after that.
Wowzers.
So we're gonna do
crazy.
some, it's gonna be as crazy as we make it, right? but be excited for that, folks. And if you have any ideas or suggestions, we've already asked our producers, but if you as our producer and have not answered on the Patreon post, please feel free to reach out and give us some suggestions and thoughts on that dedicated post. And for those of you who are not Patreon producers, please feel free to reach out to us via message or in this post, or excuse me, this episode's comments, and let us know if there's anything that you would like us to change or add to the podcast as we go into season 2. But last but not least, may the Force be with you, and we thank you for joining the Jedi.